Stephen, that wasn't the prettiest day to play football in, nor the prettiest style of play, but certainly we got the win in the end.
Yeah, listen, look, I think the most important thing is that we can all get caught up in the negative that we conceded 2 goals. But listen, I think the character shown to win the game of football today is probably the most pleasing part, and then obviously 3 really, really good individual goals like Duna's strike. Hodge delighted for him to get off the mark. That's what he's all about. Unfortunately, it's come at this stage a wee bit late for him, but hopefully it can give him the confidence to kick on for the remaining games. And then obviously Tegg's coming in. That's his 3rd time scoring against Newry this season. So again, another really good finish, crest into the bottom corner. So listen, pleased with our goals, not so pleased with how we conceded our goals. Listen, I said that, lads, the conditions, people will use conditions as an excuse, but we can't. We've got to rise above that. You play long into a heavy wind, the ball will stay in the air. You play it long with a heavy wind, the ball runs out of play. So what does that tell you? You've got to try and keep the ball on the deck and find a way to move the opposition with shorter passes. And that was the direct message today. The only criticism we would have of that is that it wasn't done with enough urgency and enough speed in our play. And I felt if we had got that right, we would have created more chances than we did. Even at 1-0, I felt the opportunity when we broke with James Duna, squaring it for Hodge. You put that in the net, and it's probably a more comfortable day. And in the first half, that we've predominantly dominated.
Yeah, I thought we managed the conditions very well. It was very blustery and sort of maybe 2 or 3 seasons in one game. You mentioned there the passing and that sort of thing. Guys in midfield, about 4 or 5 different players at different points playing centre midfield. Thought we did quite well at times.
Yeah, well, listen, look, there's more than one way to win a game of football. The conditions would suggest that if you play long ball football, which we don't really favour the best of times, it certainly wasn't the day for long ball football. Mind you, our second goal comes from a longer pass, which you would question it worked in that situation. But in general, I think with the conditions today, you need to be clever in terms of how you control, because if you play long, it just comes back on top of you and it becomes a game of basketball, and it means you've got very little control in the game, where at least if you've got the ball, albeit you may not be creating a huge pile, well then it means you're suffocating the opposition. And if you can do that from a winning position, which we had 3 times today, it stems their flow a little bit. And I just felt, when we got our noses in front, we should have kicked on again, and we probably just allowed the opposition back into the game. Too easy, in my opinion.
You mentioned Gavin Hodgins and finally getting a goal there. I thought he took it very well. But his overall play coming on, unfortunately, AP picked a bit of a knock there, but coming on and his actual hold-up play, I thought, was better than it has been in some games this season. His overall contribution to the game was quite good. Yeah,
listen, Gav's an 18-year-old kid, so we always have to add a little bit of context to that. Look, when you see how he finishes that, you say to yourself, yes, there's something, there's something about this kid. For Gavin, it's just been it's been difficult because he's coming into first-team football, in terms of where he's expected to contribute. It's the first time he's had it in his career. New league, not knowing an awful lot about it, and it's just took him a wee bit of time to get up to speed. And I felt today, like as you say, his all-round game was quite good. His link-up play was good. He made some clever runs, not always getting the ball, I would say unselfish runs, but the run for the goal and the first touch and the strike was amazing, if you ask me. So listen, chuff for the kid, and 4 games left. It'd be great now to see him go on a wee run and get a flurry of goals.
Looking forward then to next week of turn around again, play Loughgall. Results today went for us. Ballymena winning and Dungannon winning as well. Yeah. We're suddenly back in the hunt for 7th again.
Yeah, listen, and that's the thing, you can never get too worked up. This is a process, this is a journey. We come in late September, start of October, a lot of change, style of play, personnel, even the environment. So there's a lot going on here, and it can be quite tricky in season when you're taking over a club in a precarious position. But to know that finishing 7th is in our hands, I think is, I think the lads need incredible, how would you say, incredible mention, because they're the ones that have drove us out of a really difficult situation, drove us up the table, obviously achieved the initial objective, but now we want to finish 7th, while it's mathematically still there, and while we have the teams ahead of us still to play, it's technically in our own hands. So that has to be the target. Well, we're 1 point behind 8th, 2 points behind 7th, and hey, we play 7th next week, so we owe ourselves a performance because we weren't good enough here 2 weeks ago. Our lads know that. Our lads know that elements of our performance weren't good today, but elements were decent as well. So we need to come together again, have a really good training week, and truck on here and aim for 4 wins. That has to be the objective, and first up is Loch All, and yeah, we'll get ready for that.
And obviously there's been a little bit of made this week about your credentials, the licence and all that sort of thing around Europe. What would you say to those people who've been questioning?
Yeah, well,
that?
listen, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. As I say, other clubs have appointed managers who don't have the licence, but there's now going to be a U-turn. So if that's the case, that would throw licensing up in the air. So yeah, listen, we got to keep playing, finish 7th, get to the European playoffs. If we get into Europe, well, then we'll talk about it.
And finally, I mentioned they're obviously playing Newry today. Their manager, Barry Gray, unfortunately, has gone through a bit of a poor health. You obviously know him from me, brought you to Warren Point a few years ago. Gave you your first team coach appointment there. Do you have a message for Barry at this time?
Yeah, listen, obviously we're the football community comes together, and it's not nice to hear. Obviously, I know Barry really well personally. He gave me kind of my introduction to Irish League football as a coach, and very, very grateful for that. And yeah, listen, we hope he has a full recovery. I think that's the most important thing. And right now, it's for him. It's obviously going through his treatment and making sure that he gives himself the best opportunity to recover. And everybody, including myself from Glenavon Football Club, wish him all the best in that.